Hello everyone and welcome to Hockey Hub. I'm Brendan and today we're doing another standings prediction and we were looking at the East Division. Now for my money, the East Division is the hardest division out of all these four realigned divisions. It's basically the Metro but take out Columbus and Carolina and put in Boston and Buffalo. So even like Buffalo is a team that's really upgraded a lot this offseason. So to me, I think the entire division is really tough and I think it's going to be one of the hardest divisions to predict because there's such good competition here. But we are going to start off at the bottom with number 8. Now at number 8, I have the New Jersey Devils. Now the New Jersey Devils had a massive offseason last offseason, and everybody thought that they might have been able to make a playoff push, but obviously that wasn't the case. Jack Hughes wasn't a standout rookie, PK Subban kind of fell off a cliff, and just a lot of things went wrong for New Jersey. That being said, I think another year of Hughes and Hischier should do wonders for the New Jersey Devils, but unfortunately for them in this division, I can't see them making it. I think they'll still be a competitive team. Their goaltending tandem of Mackenzie Blackwood and Corey Crawford is a really good one. But that's if Corey Crawford plays. There has been some rumors that he's considering retirement. But either way, Mackenzie Blackwood is still one of the best young starters in the NHL, and he's going to keep New Jersey in games. But their overall lineup is really young, and although they have a bright future, I don't think they're going to be all that dangerous of a team in this tough of a division. And at number 7, I have the Buffalo Sabres. Now, the same can sort of be said for the Buffalo Sabres in that, they made a lot of moves this offseason. They brought in Taylor Hall, they brought in Eric Stahl, and, really have made an effort to try and better their team, but I just don't think that they're better than the 6 teams ahead of them. Buffalo has got some real star power in Jack Eichel, Taylor Hall, and Rasmus Dahlin, but their overall lineup I don't think is going to be good enough to take down a team like Pittsburgh game in and game out. I do have some questions about their goaltending. Linus Ullmark is okay, but not exactly a great starter, and Carter Hutton has really struggled lately. The defense is also a question too outside of Rasmus Dahlin. Rasmus Ristolainen is not the greatest in the defensive zone, and when you have a guy playing, top pairing minutes when you play like Ristolainen and more so an offensive guy, it makes sense why Buffalo, has a lot of turnovers and leads to a lot of goals against. So I do think that the Buffalo Sabres will be an improved team, but not by that much. Now at number 6, I have the New York Rangers. Now despite the fact that the New York Rangers got Alexis Lafreniere as the first overall pick in the 2020 NHL entry draft, I still don't think that the New York Rangers are ready to be a playoff team as of yet. Maybe in the old Metro division with the wildcard system they might have been able to make it in, but I think that this division is so tough, and the Rangers really, their defense can kind of get exposed. The right side is really strong with the likes of Jacob Trouba, Adam Fox, and the very offensive Tony DeAngelo, but the left side isn't that strong, with a guy like Jack Johnson probably slotted into that top 6 and Ryan Lindgren. There's some serious questions about that blue line. Their forward core is really good though. Obviously Mika Zibanejad and Artemi Panarin were 2 of the best forwards in the NHL this past season, and I'm sure they'll be able to replicate for the most part what they brought. And then there's Alexis Lafreniere and then Kakko Capo if he takes another step in his development, but I still don't think that this team is ready yet. I think after this season they'll be a playoff team. I think there's also, they've got 2 really good young goaltenders. They do have some good young defensemen, and obviously that young, very talented forward core. I think the Rangers are probably going to eventually get a Stanley Cup with this core. There's so many good players, but for right now, I just don't think that they're ready to make the playoffs, especially in as tough as a division as this. And at number 5, I have the New York Islanders. Now, this one was really tough to figure out because I know the New York Islanders are likely going to once again succeed expectations and probably end up making the playoffs just because of how good of a coach Barry Trotz is. That being said, this division is really tough. And, as the time that I'm filming this video, Matthew Barzal has yet to sign a contract. So if that if he holds out and if that lingers over the team, that could be a serious problem for them, as Matthew Barzal is their best forward, is their best player, and is their franchise piece. The New York Islanders always have a good defensive system. They've got a good goaltender in Semyon Varlamov, and then obviously the young goaltender coming up in Ilya Sorokin. They've got good pieces, they've got good players, but I think that this division is so tough, so talented, and if Matthew Barzal holds out for a bit, I think that might be enough to kind of set the Islanders back. I think it's going to be really close. I think, the Islanders are going to be right around there, but for my predictions, I have them just missing out. At number 4, just squeaking into the playoffs, I have the Boston Bruins. Now, the Boston Bruins didn't have a great offseason, losing their longtime captain Zdeno Chara and their best offensive blue liner in Torrey Krug. So their defense has taken a massive hit, and although guys like Charlie McAvoy and Brandon Carlo are going to be able to really step up and play big roles for Boston, their defense is still not the greatest on paper right now. They still boast a strong goaltending tandem in Tuukka Rask and Yaroslav Halak, which is part of the reason I think they'll be able to edge out the New York Islanders, since in my opinion that's probably still the best goaltending tandem in the NHL. Then up front, obviously Patrice Bergeron, who's been named captain of the Boston Bruins and is the right choice. He's fantastic. Then you've got Brad Marchand, who is said that he should be available for opening night. David Pastrnak is going to miss some time, though, and Pastrnak has been the Bruins' best offensive forward for a little bit, and Pastrnak just, he's got that goal-scoring threat. He has a Rocket Richard trophy, and he is going to be part of the reason why I think Boston does slide a little bit in the standings, but when he comes back, they'll probably get a boost and still be able to make it. They've still got other solid forwards like Jake DeBrusk, Charlie Coyle, and the recently acquired Craig Smith. So I think that Boston is still, they've got that winning atmosphere. They play such a good system. I think they're still going to be able to make the playoffs, but this is definitely a team that the time is kind of running out for them, and I think it's going to be a fight between them and the Islanders for this final spot. Now, the Pittsburgh Penguins are another team that really hasn't had a great offseason, although I still think that they're going to be able to finish third in this division. Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin are still two of the best players on the entire planet. Chris Letang is still a really good defenseman, and Tristan Jarry proved this past season that he can be a really good starting goaltender. Jarry's going to need to be able to live up to those expectations that he set this past season, and I think he'll be able to. The rest of the forward core is really solid as well. I'm sure Pittsburgh will benefit from having a healthy Jake Gensel, as he is one of the more underrated offensive stars in the NHL. Despite all Pittsburgh lost this season, and despite getting back some of the not so liked players such as Mike Matheson and Cody Ceci, I think Pittsburgh is still going to be good enough to make the top 3 in this division. They've still got tremendous star talent, and they are still really deep at forward. And at number 2, I have the Washington Capitals. Now, the Washington Capitals have been a great regular season team for seemingly the entire past decade. Led by Alex Ovechkin and John Carlson, Washington had another really good regular season this past year, but weren't exactly able to live up to it in the playoffs. That's kind of been the narrative for Washington for a while, except for 2018 when they were finally able to win the Stanley Cup, and I'm kind of expecting more of the same. I think Washington will have a really good regular season under head coach Peter Laviolette. Obviously, Alex Ovechkin is still going to be penciled in to be top 5 or top 3 in goal scoring. John Carlson is the best offensive defenseman in the NHL, and Nicholas Backstrom and Evgeny Kuznetsov are 2 really good centers. The question I have with Washington is if Ilya Samsonov is going to be able to build off his impressive rookie season. If Samsonov can look like a true, really good number 1 starter, Washington does have a shot at winning this division. But for right now, I think Samsonov didn't exactly get as much playing time as the goaltender that I have ahead of him in the next team. But that being said, I still think Samsonov's going to be really good, and I think Washington is going to be really good. But at number 1, I have the Philadelphia Flyers. Now, I think the Philadelphia Flyers have one of the most perfect mixes of youth and veterans in the NHL. Claude Giroux, Jacob Voracek are still, 2 holdovers from the past era of the Philadelphia Flyers as they move into this new generation with guys like Carter Hart, Ivan Provorov, Travis Konechny, Oscar Lindblom, and Nolan Patrick. So that being said, Claude Giroux is still an effective forward, and obviously they still have a guy like Sean Couturier there who just won the Selke Trophy. So Philadelphia's overall lineup is very balanced and very strong. I think Carter Hart is going to have a massive season as well. Hart came in as a true starter last season and proved a lot. Was technically his second season because he did play enough games in his in the 2018-2019 season to be considered a rookie. So now that Hart has had 2 good seasons under his belt, I think he's really ready to take off, and he showed that in the playoffs where he was Philadelphia's best player. Philadelphia's forward core is really strong as well, and with a apparently healthy Nolan Patrick, it should only get stronger. I do get that a guy like Voracek and Giroux are aging, but if guys like Lindblom and Konechny and Nolan Patrick are able to step into those roles, that should help replace some of what Giroux and Voracek lose with age. Obviously, Sean Couturier is still in the prime of his career, and same can be said for Kevin Hayes, 2 guys that were really great for Philadelphia last season, and I think Couturier is probably their best overall player. But Philadelphia has also got a really strong blue line led by Ivan Provorov as well. There's other good guys there like Philip Myers and Travis Sanheim, and a big question mark in Shane Gostisbehere. But that being said, Philadelphia's overall lineup I think is the best in this division, and I think they're going to have a really good regular season. Philadelphia tends to bounce between good season, bad season, and I think this is the year that they finally change the narrative, since they also had a good season this past season, but I think that they're really going to take off, and I think they're going to be a top 5 team in the NHL. But that does it for today's video. I appreciate you guys watching till the end. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys later. Bye for now.